hear me at the back? Or do I have mic there? So, what I'll be covering in the next half an hour to 40 minutes is how SAP can help you plan your journey to S4. What tools are available, what is there that you can leverage in terms of supporting SAP. Just some context in the beginning, I won't go too much into this. We are now looking at intelligent technologies. So we talk about things like conversational UX, machine learning, Internet of Things, blockchain, and of course the digital core. This is what journeys are being planned around. This is what the journeys are being planned around. SAP wants to support their journey is with the enterprise starts at the digital core. You probably have all heard this before, so I'm not going to go too much into detail here. But with SAP HANA, in addition to moving the digital core, there is a lot of discussion, evaluation when planning around real-time processing, the convergence of online transaction processing and analytical processing. How can I leverage the simplified data models? So, since the digital core offers end-to-end analytics, automation, next-generation processes, there is a certain amount of complexity in deciding what I want my transformation plan to look like when I move to SAP S/4HANA. Most customers don't just treat it as an upgrade or conversion, technical conversion into the system. There are additional considerations that need to be thought of, and this introduces complexity. Right? So when you start with SAP S/4HANA, as the first step, you also need to plan about what's going to happen after that. How can you actually leverage your investment? And the movement is strong globally. We've had over 10,000 licensed customers, 3,000 plus live customers, multiple projects running, 6,000 plus of them. And there are multiple solutions. We offer cloud solutions, as was already mentioned. There's platform as a service, there's the option to move on to tech, there's the option to move on to cloud from on-premise, etc. All of these add to the complexity of actually planning an end-to-end transformation that you're talking about SAP. So, based on feedback from customers globally, SAP has a program called the SAP S/4HANA Movement or Move. So, the objective here is to understand why the move to S/4HANA is important, why they should move now, or how they should plan that transition, how you should plan that transition. What are the benefits, what are the returns on investment from customers who have already made the move, and the offerings, tools, content that is available from SAP that you can leverage in actually planning and later safeguarding that journey. I will focus mainly here on the offerings, tools, programs, etc. The objective is to disseminate that information so that you can make a decision on what you can leverage as part of your planning. We fully recognize that SAP S/4HANA is a joint investment. Okay, so the MOVE program is a global program. There are resources, there are tools. There's a lot of investment that SAP is putting globally into this, and it is a priority at the board level. So what is new in MOVE? SAP tools and resources are available. There are many of them that you have already probably leveraged. So what is new about it? I'll come to that in a little bit. The idea is to help you accelerate the SAP S/4HANA adoption. The MOVE program is oriented to help you define your strategy, plan the engagement, get the executive buy-in. What are you going to do? What will it result in? And therefore, how can you build the business case? Where and how will we realize our return on investment? And what is the plan for deployment? We recognize that systems are complex, landscapes are complex. Even within ERP, the core, we have complex processes, we have investments that are gone in over multiple years. How do we safeguard that investment while still gaining value from new technology? And then we also look at how you can build your future. Once you move to the digital core, what is it that you need to consider next? What is there available in SAP's offerings that you could potentially leverage? What is readily available in some of the new areas? Because we all talk about, as Sir said earlier, blockchain or machine learning technologies, but what is really available for us to leverage. Obviously, when you plan the transition, it's good to have a starting point at least in terms of the direction in which you want to explore those areas. To do this, you can choose one of three starting points that best suit you when you're doing the initial planning. You can, the planning considerations here are what tools are available to support my planning. This covers both business aspects as well as the technical aspects. You need technical safeguarding as well as to see what is the value that I can generate from a business perspective. What role do I want my team to take in the planning? We fully recognize that not all the planning is done in-house. The details of the planning are often done with partners, system integrators, or maybe even with SAP itself. So how do you want to develop that model? How do you do the initial planning? How do you validate the planning that is coming your way? The third is, what role do I want SAP to take in the planning? That is the third component we really want us to get involved. So if you're looking at starting point one, you can do the self-planning using SAP tools to discover value. Now when I say tools, I will talk about them a little earlier, but you're already familiar with some of them. There is a transformation navigator, there is the readiness check, there is the value lifecycle manager. Some of you may already be familiar with these tools. But the thing is that there are so many tools available that you need to be able to have a decision or a plan about how you can actually leverage these tools to decide in which areas the information is relevant and how it can help you in your transformation journey. So that's self-planning. The second, what I will focus the next part of my presentation is the SAP S4HANA Adoption Starter Engagement. For some reason, this pointer disappears when it comes in here. I don't think you can see it. So we're talking about this part, SAP Adoption Starter Engagement. It's basically expert guidance to help you understand your path for moving to SAP S4HANA. It comes under the Move umbrella. Why does this exist? It started actually with the German user group. There was feedback from the German user group last year that yes, you fully agree that it is a complex process to define the transformation plan that we want to undertake. You have put in a lot of investment into tools, but these tools are often difficult to use. And since there are multiple tools, it's difficult to interpret the results of these tools, the interplay of these results, and for me to build a coherent plan around all of this is difficult. So is there some way that you can help guide us through the process of coming out with the first transformation plan that then we can then flesh out, prioritize, and take forward? That was the genesis of the Adoption Starter Engagement. It started in Germany, as I said, and then rolled out to EMEA customers last year. Then the American user group got involved. So this year we had the rollout to the Americas region. And we have just started the rollout into APJ with India. The pilot class is scheduled for next month, July 8th. There was some communication earlier on this from Indus, but I will go through that again. The third option is, if you want SAP to get involved, you may be familiar with some of the offerings that SAP already has, the value discovery engagement, where you can get experts to come in as a dedicated service and help you detail out the areas that you want. As I said earlier, I will focus on the Adoption Starter Engagement because this is a program that is available to all our customers that have valid support agreements free of charge. Okay, there is no additional investment that is required beyond the fact that you have to participate and bring the right resources into that program so that you can build your plan. So what does the Adoption Starter Engagement do? The idea is to provide a prescriptive and clear guidance and support to design and develop your roadmap for moving to SAP S4HANA. What do I mean by that? It is not a technical service necessarily in the sense that it doesn't delve down into the actual, for instance, if you take the readiness check, what are the simplification items that are relevant, what do you need to do in asset accounting? That's the second step. It's a much more broader based program designed to give you the first transformation plan covering the areas that you will need to address when you start detailing the plan. It's a guided approach. There's a structured methodology to it. The idea is to guide customers create their own plan. The program is designed as a series of modules that will be covered over a 90-day window, 3 months, because there's a lot of content that we go through, plus there is the fact that you have to use that content and actually use some of the tools, develop or the results, evaluate the priorities, etc. It's virtual, so it's a virtual classroom setting with multiple SAP experts depending on the areas that are being covered. And it's a easy to follow collaboration model. It's not necessarily fully one-to-one, so it's also a forum where multiple people or multiple customers that are doing the same thing that you want to do, they come into that forum. So it's also designed to encourage sharing of ideas, sharing of experiences, etc. It's fairly easy to execute with predictable outcomes. The program, you can, before registering for the program, you can find out what is covered, what will be the output. So you don't have to go into it without knowing what will come out. You can always find out that beforehand before you sign up. It's packaged with not just explanatory sessions from experts, but there are also question and answer sessions, checkpoints to see whether we are on track, etc. And it's delivered in a guided sequence flow. So what is delivered? Basically, the idea is at the end of the program that you will have the first cut transformation plan or transformation plan 1.0 as we call it, okay, in an organized sequence and action-driven format. What is covered? There are 3 aspects that we believe a transformation plan has to cover if you have to get a comprehensive business case or a full-fledged landscape evaluation. There is the business evaluation. Why should I move? What are the reasons that I have for moving to SAP S4HANA and leveraging the digital core as well as other solutions, whether they be cloud solutions or on-premise solutions? 2 parts to the business evaluation, an innovation case and an efficiency case. What can I do that is new that can help me extend my business processes, optimize my business processes? What does SAP deliver in the new areas that is relevant to my lines of business, my strategic priorities, my innovation priorities? So there we cover things like industry innovation trends. Out of those, what is delivered already by SAP in some of the newer releases and what is relevant to you? It's sort of like a shortlisting process. What are the relevant value drivers and aspirations I need to consider? Which functionalities are priorities for me and what solutions are available against those functionalities? How much value do I want to derive against some of these drivers in terms of efficiency? What future capabilities I've already mentioned? What baseline results and tracking approach can I use? If I have a standard approach to my effort estimate, if I take a standard plan, if I use some of the content that is available or the accelerators that are available, what are the potential savings that I could come up with? So the 2 aspects that are addressed in the business evaluation is what additional value can I look for and how can I optimize existing processes as well as the conversion. Okay, so there's a cost optimization part and there is the process innovation part. Both of these are covered in the business evaluation. Then there is the technical evaluation. I have a landscape, I use certain functionality, I have additional systems in my landscape. What are the target products in terms of my to-be landscape that I should move, I should consider, or I should have in my first cut planning? We talk not only about ERP to S4HANA, but we also talk about the additional suite products that you may be currently using and what SAP's roadmap in those areas are that you could potentially leverage. So here we look at the midterm target architecture, depending on your scope that you're currently using and some of the capabilities that you want to use. What is the product recommendations against that? How do I define what my core is in terms of transformation? Should I look at my landscape from a consolidation perspective? Are there opportunities for me if I have multiple landscapes? Is it something that I should consider as part of my transformation plan? And what are the technical preparation needs that I need to look at should I go for a conversion? What about custom code? What is the impact on functionality, etc.? The third part of the roadmap is the transformation evaluation. I have a target landscape, I have business priorities, I have technical priorities. How do I get to where I want? How do I phase it out? What should I do first? How do I manage the risk? So this talks about things like, should I look at a conversion or should I look at a greenfield implementation? What are the high-level drivers that I need to consider when I'm actually evaluating that? Should I do a single step? Should I do a multi-step transformation? How do I consider alignment with business requirements? What are the areas where I could require intensive business involvement? Identify those at the first case. How should I sequence my product transitions, considering that I have already thought about a target landscape? And even within that, in a more detailed level, if I have multiple instances, how do I talk about, how do I think about putting all this together? The idea is to put all the elements of the case so that you take the people participating, take a broader view. And with the transformation plan 1.0 that comes out of this, you can then refine it further based on your priorities to decide on what you need to do next. So how do we do this? I will cover now the schedule and the way that it is delivered, what we actually do. But before that, are there any questions? If not, as I said earlier, this is delivered completely remote. There is no on-site discussion. It is not completely one-to-one. As I said earlier, multiple people participate. Before I go into the details of what I have here, I'd just like to explain some of this legend that you see here. These triangles that you see in gray, light gray, means that these are sessions, remote sessions, but they are 1:n. So if you have multiple customers signing up for the program, those sessions will involve the participation of all the customers that are registered for that particular class. The triangles that you see here with a dark gray color, these are customer-only sessions and on-demand support from SAP. I'll explain how that works with this with some examples. The third aspect of the program is where you have these orange triangles. These are 1:1 sessions. So if there are 10 people in a class, there will be 10 sessions to discuss results specific to that individual customer. So it's a mix of both so that you can leverage the commonalities that is there in the group. But when it comes to your data or your specific planning, we have identified these areas where 1:1 evaluations are required. The program, as I said, is designed to be delivered across 90 days. Not as though sessions are around every day, but I will take you through the content. There are 3 modules that we offer in the adoption starter. There is something called the foundation, which is the orange part here. Anybody signing up for the adoption starter mandatorily has to go through the foundation package. The other 2 are optional, the transformation and business. The reason for this is that the foundation package talks about the 4 areas of a transformation. Depending on where you are or your priorities are in terms of business or planning around transformation, you could choose to attend the others or not. How does it work? Basically, there are 9 modules that you see here across the 3 packages. We cover various aspects. I will quickly walk you through that. I will also tell you how you can find out additional details. So any customer that decides to sign up for this has to register for the program. Once you register, there is some amount of technical prerequisites. You have to identify a small team that will put together the actual transformation plan. You will be guided. There are some technical prerequisites, for instance, for the readiness check, for a business process reality check, which are not used on that. So once you register, our team will help you set up those prerequisites in the pre-preparation phase. Then there will be a kickoff where we will explain to the team that is nominated for this, what will happen in the program, how it will happen, what they need to do, what they can expect in terms of an output, etc. And once that is done, we actually move into the analysis or discovery phase, which runs for normally 2 months. What happens here? We go through a schedule which has coverage of all these 9 modules that we talk about. So what happens in these 9 modules? I'll just very briefly give you a high-level overview. We start with what we call scoping the digital core. The idea here is to first look at your current landscape and look at your priorities in terms of which functionality you are using in the current landscape and how you would like that to be in your target landscape. This involves evaluations such as whether, from your IT strategy perspective, if you have a cloud-first strategy, which functionality that you currently have on premise could go to cloud, what options are there, etc. The second is the SAP Transformation Navigator. Some of you must already be familiar with the SAP Transformation Navigator, I assume. Anybody here has used it? The SAP Transformation Navigator is a tool that has all the information about our products, our current existing products and capabilities into it. In addition to that, it also has customer proof points, feedback or experiences from customers who have actually used some of those products, what they have gained, etc. The SAP Transformation Navigator tool, if you run it using an S user ID that you have, it takes your current usage data. Then you can fine-tune that with additional capabilities or priorities that are important to you. You can also provide your transformation plans. For instance, you could specify in which areas you are more oriented towards a cloud solution rather than an on-premise solution. Based on all this, it will give you a list of current capabilities that you use, what products you use, and what products are in SAP's roadmap in those areas. So it's a first step towards planning your overall landscape based on the capabilities that you have, not just focusing on the core ERP. The third module in the foundation package is an innovation scenario check. Here we bring in experts, industry experts, technical experts that focus on the new areas that are available with SAP S/4HANA. We talk about machine learning, we talk about Internet of Things, we talk about blockchain, we talk about big data. So how it works is that there are sessions where industry-wide trends and new capabilities that are available with S/4HANA are explained, information is provided. You can use that to make a short list of what is important to you, what is readily available, and which you need to build into the roadmap so that you can drill down deeper into that and see how you can actually leverage it, what value it can bring. Because one of the feedback, some of the feedback we've got is that it's difficult for us to always think about what we want to leverage in these new areas. Why don't you inform us about what is readily available and which way you're heading so that we can marry it with our industry, our processes, our priorities, and then work on that shortlist. Then in the business package, we have 3 modules. The business process reality check. This is a report that is run in your system that looks at the data in your current system. How much of a backlog has been built up? Okay. Where are there areas where automation is low, for instance? How much of your, let's say, requisition to purchase order process is still manual? So this runs on your current system. Those KPIs are then discussed individually one-to-one. So I can use this as an example to explain how the process will work. In the business process reality check, for instance, we would start with a concept explanation, saying how the business process reality check will work, roughly what KPIs will come out of it. There are 30 odd. Then we will actually extract those KPIs, and with each participant we will discuss that. Okay. Why do you have such a heavy backlog of sales documents, open sales orders, for instance? What's the idea here? The idea here is that as part of your transformation, if you decide to do a conversion, for instance, it's a good idea to understand where you have data that can be cleaned up. It has an impact on your downtime. You could look at an archiving strategy, you could look at an optimization strategy, etc. The next one is a quick value assessment. This is again based on a tool. We have a tool called the Value Lifecycle Manager. The idea here is to take some of the value drivers, etc., that you identified in the Transformation Navigator part here, put in some basic financial information. It's a very high top level approach. The idea here is actually to give you the starting point. So based on that and based on proof points that we have in our database from other customers, The idea is to give you an idea of potentially how much savings you can get in terms of efficiencies in certain areas. For instance, if you move to S4 HANA, what has been the, let's say, finance processing cost that customers have saved one time or recurring. So you can identify those areas and you can see if those are areas that you can also target. Number 6 is the effort estimate. It's the internal SAP TCO tool that we have. It has accelerators and it has breakups of costs, both recurring and one-time run costs as well as implementation costs based on our project experience. So you can use that as a yardstick to do high-level planning, either top-down or if you wish, you can use that tool for a bottom-up planning. The idea is to get a rough idea of, the idea is that you will get an idea of what a normal project or a transformation project would cost and how you can optimize it and what potential savings are there. So that when you get down to actual planning in these areas, can I use this model to see whether I can actually optimize the efficiency case. The last one is the transformation package. Number 7 is the readiness check. Some of you may already be familiar with it. Here, the tool, the readiness check gives you an impact analysis of what would happen if your system were to be converted to S4HANA at this point of time. Which functionalities are affected? What is the first cut database size reduction that I can expect? Which BW extractors may be affected? Which of my business functions or which of my add-ons may give me a problem? So we help walk you through the readiness check. One of the prerequisites is that you have to implement the readiness check and we help you with that. In these sessions, we go through each part of the readiness check and tell you what it covers. Because this is also feedback we got from the customer. The readiness check tool is basically a report that you run after implementing certain nodes. Interpreting the results and seeing how to build that into the plan or what I should understand or infer from those results is something that we need guidance with. So that guidance is provided here. The conversion versus greenfield is a high-level analysis. I got this question today also about should we look at a re-implementation or should we look at a conversion? What is the impact? So this is designed to give you the first level guidance about that aspect. The last bit, the start point migration path, sort of takes the information that comes from here and then you put it all together into where you start, how you sequence, what is the high level plan, phase plan that you would draw for this transformation, etc. So those are the 9 modules. Sorry. During this analysis discovery phase, there will also be a checkpoint to see whether we are progressing on track. But at the end of it here, we have the draft transformation design. So the team that is delivering the adoption starter will take the output that you have created for each of these modules, put together the relevant parts into a transformation plan, which you can then review in internal workshops to decide on how you want to proceed further on that. Fleshing out the business case, planning the technical implementation or the technical conversion, looking at the effort estimate, etc. So between the draft transformation design that comes out and the final transformation design is an internal workshop where you may bring in larger stakeholders, prioritize some parts of it, detail out the next steps that you want to take in fleshing out that into an executable execution plan, program plan, or a project. So that's how the transformation plan is created using the adoption starter. There's a link here. This presentation will come to you later. There are webinars that we run every week, every Thursday, 1:30 India time, which is 10 o'clock. There's an English session. It's a 1-hour session. If you register for that, you can attend that session and you can get details of what happens in each of these modules and then make a decision about whether the adoption starter will help you. If so, which parts of it that you want to leverage and when are the classes available. These are run as classes. So each program that you have here, which runs for 3 months, will be a set of participants in a class. We currently have across the US, Germany, and India is only starting next month, but we have something like 12 to 14 classes running concurrently, depending on the demand. We either schedule 1 or 2 classes a month for each region. So you've got US running, we've got India running. And because it's 90 days, while earlier classes are running, new classes also start. That's why we have that many classes running. Ideal participation is about 8 to 10 customers in a session, because beyond that it becomes a little bit difficult to handle this. Are there any questions?
Is there any no need for help to take the help of any partner?
I'm sorry?
Is there any no need for taking the help from partners?
Yes.
In this
You can do that. If you're already working with partners, you can invite, when you register, you will bring in a set of people who will work on this program and create that transformation plan. You can embed partner resources into that. For instance, if architecture decisions are being held, you already have a contact. The partner can be part of your team that participates.
Need not be.
Need not be. But that option is very much.
What would be this commercials of all this?
There is no commercials. The program is completely free for all installed base customers that have a valid support agreement. So you can just register. What is the cost is the investment that you put in participating and putting all this together. Now the question is, what would be the effort? If you go into the webinar, we will provide details of that. There are multiple roles. Because if you want, for instance, to assess the innovation scenario, check for relevance, you need to bring in somebody from business or somebody who's deciding on the strategy in various areas. So like that, you will have to bring in different people for different modules. The maximum effort will come from the person at your end who has to coordinate at your end for all of this. Over the 90 days, we find that effort is around 15 days of investment for that one person. Like that, if you add up, somebody who's working on the innovation front, the effort is normally low, maybe about 5-6 days, because he has to go through the sessions, he or she has to go through that, work on the shortlisting, etc.
See, one question. From the data point, you have live around 3,000 plus customers.
Yes.
Licensed 10,000 plus customers.
Yes.
So there is a gap between what is live and what is licensed.
Yes.
One of the hardest things is the ROI. So from the live customers, whatever exercise has been done, do you have any quick data that, okay, these are the typical kind of customers who find it easy to do the ROI, where the maximum value return is coming from? Because performance is a given, right? Performance is the biggest advantage which everyone is talking about. Where are the other benefits coming from? And is it like if a custom implementation is a really old implementation, that is when the maximum, so any such?
So that happens at this level. We try to bring that aspects with the business module here, mainly around the quick value assessment and some of the transformation navigator. The transformation navigator and linked to the quick value assessment, both these tools look at the scope of what you're implementing, what are the areas that you're in your target landscape, and the tool has ranges where customers have gained benefits. So if you say that you want to do procurement transformation, okay, you want to leverage some of the new capabilities in some of these products, and not just ERP, maybe even Ariba, whatever it is that you choose in the transformation navigator. The tool will show you a range where customers have gained in this in terms of percentage price efficiencies. You could choose, okay, somebody has got between 8% to 40%. I'm probably not that efficient, so realistically, I think maybe I can get 10%, or that is my aspiration. So that actually the quick value assessment breaks that down into a number based on some of your operating parameters. So we have taken the proof points and built it into the tools. So there are no global statements in the program. All of it is based on the value that is realizable against a specific scope that you are targeting. And that's why we have the quick value assessment linked to the transformation navigator for financial numbers. Yes, sorry. I'm very tense. I'm taking more time than so I'll speed up and down. In addition to this, just a reminder on what we've covered in the earlier sessions. This is about planning, but if you are already have a plan in place and you're thinking of moving into execution mode, SAP offers a customer care program with the regional implementation group for conversions. If you are embarking on a conversion, this is on a first come, first serve basis. There are limited seats, so please reach out to customer care. What happens with the customer care program is, if you're doing it in-house or if you're doing it with a partner, the customer care program will bring in experts. There will be a development agent and a project management advisory. And they will sort of be a part of your conversion journey in terms of providing advice, technical advice, as well as execution advice. This is again free, but it's on a registration first come, first served basis. With that, I'm done. This slide will be circulated. My email ID is there, in addition to the webinar link. If you have any questions, please drop me an email. I'll get back.